Hey, just checking. Is that Atomos recording? Thank you. Well, that'll be good enough. Paul, as we do get about a minute out, what would you like me to ask you coming into this match? Yeah, maybe, can we hold for 30 seconds probably?
I think we start in with the kind of the rebound from yesterday, and admittedly both teams were flat. So I mean, we could start that, and then we could head into Aaron Cook and say, well, you know, what's the key for Presbyterian? Well, it all starts and stops with Aaron Cook.
No, I agree.
And then more from Fector moving forward. Fector was probably the lone standout as far as exceptional play for Campbell yesterday. That's statistically. Now Layla took a lot on her shoulders, but there were some errors there. So I think that's the way to go. I think, unless you've got other ideas.
I agree. Yep. Okay.
Okay.
Yep. Good luck. Yep. Welcome inside Gore Arena for Big South Conference Volleyball, the second match in this two-game series as the Campbell Camels at 8-3 overall. Welcome to Presbyterian Blue Hose, who are now 2-9 in this Big South Conference season. We welcome you courtside here with Paul McDonald. I'm Evan Budrovich. Yesterday, Paul, neither team hit particularly well as a unit, but Campbell serving 13 aces. How are these offenses looking to get going here today?
Well, both teams are going to try to kick things off with a little bit better on the service reception side, especially for Presbyterian, who they yielded 13 service aces against them, with Claire-Ann Fector getting 5 of those. So outstanding start for Claire-Ann Fector, and an outstanding match for her yesterday. 24 digs in the 3-set match. So defense really led the way for Campbell in their victory yesterday.
Presbyterian is led by the junior, let's say do it all, no position needed, in Aaron Cook. What does she bring to the table for the Blue Hose?
Well, it starts and stops with Aaron Cook. She runs the classic 6-2 setting system. She sets from the back row. She attacks from the front row. She's the leading assist getter for Presbyterian, and also the top player for kills. So it all starts and stops with Aaron Cook, number 3, the junior from Davidson, North Carolina.
Here's Maddie Miner to serve, and we are underway. First swing for Allie Wright, the middle blocker, who's playing all the rotations in the front row today. Good denial at the net. That's Hannah Chapman, the senior from San Diego.
Good start for Hannah Chapman, and she just held her ground there. Not a whole lot fancy on that attack, or on the attack from Campbell. So she just held her ground. She pressed down, and that's the first point of the game.
Presbyterian 6 blocks as a team yesterday. A nice start here in this first set. Here's Wright again. We have a net violation here for Campbell at the net. Point PC.
Yep, and that net call against Chloe Cook, really more of a micro touch, but a touch nonetheless, and that was right in front of the R2, the down official, so she could see that one very clearly.
Miner has to sprint over for this set. There's Stenko on the back row. In the third set in yesterday's game, it was a scrappy battle. 8 lead changes. Saw a lot more fight from the Blue Hose in set 3. The challenge for Campbell this year has been winning those second matchups in back-to-backs.
And it's all going to start from the defensive end. And so far, we have yet to see either team really get in system offensively because of the great defense on both squads.
Kate Menz in the starting attack for the third straight matchup. And there's Factor getting the dump set. Cook off hands. Hewitt frees it over. The Page smashes to the floor.
Well, that's nice when you got Melody Page there. She makes no mistake. And what a fantastic season for Mel Page so far this year. And in fact, for Melody Page, hitting .378 on the season, a fantastic percentage clip as a middle hitter for Campbell.
That's third in the Big South Conference coming into today. Minor dumps to the far corner. Transition swing and a nice kill for Jordan Makeda.
Nice work by Makeda. She hits that middle quick, essentially against that left back, left front defense of Campbell, and to no avail on the defensive end. A bit of a touch there on the Campbell side, but not enough to get it up.
Now Sierra Jones on the service. Green on receive, gets a swing and touches hands. Point Campbell.
Yep, kind of another micro touch. I know I talk a lot about that, but when that view of the contact is so close to that official, the official has a better view even than that of the line judges, who either motioned no touch or motioned no sight of the play.
Aisha Boyd, our F1 today. Wilson in system.
Nice job to force that middle quick. And I think for Campbell's going to need to get a lot more action in the middle. Middle action yesterday, not so much. Mel Page with only 13 attempts on the day. Haley Wilson with only 3. So that tells you that the middle play really was not all that hot for most of the day for Campbell.
When you have someone like Menz on the outside, cooking in all positions. Because to your point, Paul, you think of yesterday's match, 30 swings for Layla Green, 30 swings for Cook in just a 3-set match.
Yep, that's a lot to shoulder, and that also speaks to the fact that there was pressure from Presbyterian throughout the game, because if the ball control isn't good enough for Campbell, then they have to go to the pins.
That is in on the back line for Layla Green. Give her 2 kills.
Nice job by Layla Green. She splits the block. The block has a lot of responsibility there, trying to keep an eye on number 15, Haley Wilson, and the result was a split in the block, and Layla Green makes no mistake.
4-0 run for Campbell. Allie Wright, little off balance, missing wide. Presbyterian in yesterday's match hit .019, not a very high percentage. They're without Trinity Williams, one of the best outside hitters, the junior, and looking to find production from their pin hitters.
And it's not going to be easy without Trinity Williams out on the floor. And sure enough, the result, an .019 hitting clip. That's not going to get it done against anybody in the Big South.
Wilson splits the block. She has 2 early kills, and Campbell's feeding the middles a lot in this second matchup. We'll talk about that after this timeout. Presbyterian down 4 as Campbell rolling in set 1.
Power isn't born, it's built over time. For over 65 years, Hercules Tires has been providing the muscle to move more drivers. Whatever the vehicle, whatever the terrain, and we back it with a powerful protection plan. So wherever the road or the trail takes you, we have the selection, value, and strength to get you there. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
We are not merely an institution of higher education. We are transforming lives and empowering students to become leaders.
Leaders in our communities,
in our state, and throughout the world.
Leaders in innovation.
Leaders in service to our neighbors.
Join our movement. Join our community. Join our mission. Lead with purpose. Lead with Campbell.
Final stretch of Big South Conference play, just 2 weekends remaining after this matchup today. High Point at 10-0 leads the charge. And Campbell at 8-3. Some work cut out for him here, Paul, down the stretch, making this match oh so important.
Yep, they really do. They need to scratch their way through the season and maybe get a little bit of help from the leaders who are actually playing against each other today in High Point and Charleston Southern. A split would probably be the best result for Campbell, or a sweep by Charleston Southern. Though either way, Campbell needs to take care of its own business today.
Layla Green beats the block. And she's heating up in this first set. 3 kills on 3 swings.
Well, that's a good start. And for Layla Green, the attack leader for Campbell, she's picking right up where she left off. Not the best attack percentage yesterday, 9 kills, hitting .097, so she's looking to up those numbers on the efficiency side of things.
Fector digs out the slide attempt. Now Jones in transition. Well, that's a double touch, too deep in the pocket.
Going for that beach dig, but just a little bit too much dish on that one. So an easy call by the official. And out of that timeout, 2 quick points by Campbell. So Campbell picks up right where it left off after that timeout from Coach Corinne Burgess.
This is an 8-0 run. That Miners saves with a great fist. Green into the block. Makeda's all over it.
Fantastic block. And that time they were waiting and ready and prepared for that out-of-system swing. And for Layla Green, her first error of the day, she could have maybe taken something off of that and maybe sent it high and long. But instead she tries to jam through a block that was just too tough to get through. Nice job by Makeda on that one to close the block.
Presbyterian 4th in the Big South in blocking behind Gardner Webb as Green beats the middle this time.
Wow, what a fun combination. And that's a classic combo play. And I think a lot of respect is given to number 15, Haley Wilson, on that. Wilson comes in on the decoy. The block is already up in the air, trying to block her, and instead right behind her is Layla Green. Layla Green, no mistake on that one.
Emily Mitter rotates in the setting role on this rotation. Fector had a career high in digs yesterday. Gets it started to Wilson.
Good job by Wilson, and that's a good scouting plan by Coach Gorel. Instead of going to one of the corners, they were a little bit out of system, and so instead Wilson goes with the push into the middle of the court. The defense for Presbyterian was standing in both corners, leaving the middle back prone.
Jordan Makeda putting on a show. The freshman from Fort Worth, Texas, 2 blocks and a couple of kills tonight.
Nice job by Makeda, and for that, as you said, some great maturity even for that of a freshman. But at this point, midway late in the spring of the freshman season, they're really not rookies anymore. They're really just finishing, getting started as a career collegiate player.
Makeda's had 4 matches now where she's hit above 400, especially for a freshman. That's a nice impact for a PC team that had so much returning to this year's roster. Couple of injuries, couple of opt-outs, and now a team that plays about 4 freshmen in their main rotation.
Yes, and for Makeda, a middle blocker's job is to be hitting from high percentage. They're supposed to be in a situation where they can swing at angles at a lot of different spaces on the court. So Makeda coming into her own as the freshman for Big South Presbyterian team.
There's an ace for Aaron Cook, the junior. Both teams had success serving the ball yesterday. We mentioned Campbell with the 13 aces. PC had 4 themselves. And Cook, the top service target for Presbyterian, shoots it long.
And a nice ace on the front end, so she's serving aggressively, and sometimes you've got to allow for the risk reward. The reward was the ace on the prior point, and then the risk was that miss right there that sails long, and now the serve for Campbell.
Haley Wilson on the service. Cook sets middle. Nice block with Page and Kala.
And Page was waiting right there for it. I think part of the problem there was not so much the play for Presbyterian, but that set was a little low. So now you got that chicken wing swing from kind of low from that middle blocker.
I tell you what, give me some chicken wings with barbecue sauce on it with these 2 cooks that are playing out here.
Hey.
We got ourselves a little Friday afternoon matinee.
Hey, I like that, a little afternoon barbecue. Hey, there's nothing like it in for Big South volleyball.
Do you bake beans, chili beans? What do you put in your barbecue?
I go a little baked beans.
Haley Wilson comes off an ace.
Yeah, I'm a northerner, so baked beans for me. But I have grown to enjoy the pulled pork of the South. So good stuff now that I moved down here, now going on 15 years ago, moving down into the South.
That's Paige Cairns, the sophomore who was barely alive when you moved down here. She just turned 20 a couple weeks ago.
I don't want to talk about my age now, but I brought it up, 15 years in the South, and you got me talking about food, and that's a hard one. That's a hard subject to get me off of.
Samantha Stenko on the float serve. Look at Kala soaring in for the opposite corner.
And if you want a textbook swing from the right side, that is a quality, almost a 2-tempo, so that's not quite a shoot, but not the high ball. You could put that one on a video and teach it to any right side attacker. Kala with great tempo on her approach, very explosive, and she puts it away.
Hewitt having trouble with that deep serve. And Stanko has to flip one up that comes short. Campbell dominating in the aces again.
Yep, great serve by Maddie Miner, putting pressure on with that deep serve. It forces Presbyterian to decide whether or not the ball is in or out. That creates hesitation on the pass.
Miner top 10 in the conference in aces with that serve. Just missing long on the swing from Haley Graholski. Timeout called by Presbyterian, their second timeout, and Greg Campbell has made the adjustment from the end of last night's match. What have you noticed from the Camels here in set one?
They're really working. They got their middles involved earlier on in this set. They got some good quality swings from Melody Page. They got a couple of good swings from Haley Wilson. Haley Wilson, 3 kills, 4 attempts, no errors on the day. Getting those middles involved allows Sarah Kalla to take a swing where the opposing middle blockers have one eyeball on Campbell's middle. So now that frees up Kalla to take the good quality swing. I think the other thing to notice is early on in this match, Presbyterian was putting pressure on, and Campbell couldn't quite pass well enough to get the middles involved and get that diversity of offensive attempts. Now the passing is starting to click. They are able to set their middles. They're able to set players other than Layla Green, taking that pressure off of Layla Green. Layla Green is up to the challenge, but Layla Green can be more effective when the middles are more involved for Campbell, as would any outside hitter, to take that pressure off.
And that passing has resulted in a 381 clip here in this first set. 5 players with kills already. That's the challenge for Presbyterian. Can their serving get Campbell out of system?
Yep, and so far, no. Presbyterian early on had a couple of good quality serves, but now not so much, not enough to put the pressure on to take Campbell out of system.
Cook pushes it outside. There's Miner in transition to Chloe Cook. That is out.
I like the choice by Chloe Cook to go down the line. She had a few inches there, but that's an extremely precise place to put the ball. That ball sailed just wide. I don't dislike the swing or the choice, and I also like that the Blue Hose, their blocking angle there, they're going to test Cook and let her swing line and take the chances on those swings.
Miner reads the tip drill. Men's to the far line. Good up by Hewitt. Right on a tight angle. Now Page in transition, finds the floor. Boy, there was a miscommunication there from Presbyterian.
Yep, I like the choice by Page, though. Instead of going angle on the tip, she's got nowhere to go. She goes exactly into the middle. She forces Presbyterian to decide which of 2 or 3 players will dig. Neither thought that it was theirs. That ball went down.
An ace for Chloe Cook puts Campbell at 20. How about this? Presbyterian just a 20% side out rate. Campbell at 63%.
Yep, Campbell right where they want to be, and Presbyterian at 22%. Not going to get many victories. Side out percent at 22, and that number is going to clip down after that service ace by Campbell.
4 aces officially, and already 3 of them from Chloe Cook, the freshman. Who gives one back?
Still a good serve, a good service run by Chloe Cook, putting tons of pressure on Presbyterian. Presbyterian is having a heck of a time just getting in system to run their offense. So we haven't really seen them seen their offense truly demonstrated yet. We'll have to see what adjustments Coach Burgess can make here through the end of this set to try to get their team untracked.
Green gets the return and the kill going down line. Layla Green heating up, 5 kills in this first set.
Nice job by Layla Green, and Layla Green had 9 yesterday, so already 5 today. So clearly her percentage is
I'm not a numbers
improving.
guy, Paul, but 5 kills on 6 swings is pretty efficient.
I'll take it.
Off the hands of Wilson, that goes out.
And I do think Layla Green would take it too, and so too would Coach Gorel. I don't think they're expecting 5 kills on 6 attempts for as a percentage for the game. Hey, if she can hit lights out like that, then nobody's going to stop them if Layla Green's hitting like that.
Here's Abby Sparkman, the redshirt freshman from Idaho, with a difficult serve for Elise Gross. And that's a lift on Maddie Miner.
Yeah, Miner kind of knows it. After that set, you could see her cringe her shoulders. She was trying to make the right play. That ball probably would have gone down for a point or at least problems for Presbyterian, but instead that ball left her hands with 2 contacts.
That set's perfect to Wilson.
Fantastic job by Wilson to be available as the setter was pulled toward the left side, but then Campbell gets up, and in the case of number 15, Haley Wilson, she gets up and hits the back quick to finish things off.
Paul, what does it take as a middle to negotiate space with your setter to have that angle to slip in?
That is the hardest challenge for a middle. Every middle and setter will tell you that if the pass is perfect, they can get their timing down relatively well, but then as the pass is moved a little bit, middles have to slow it down a little bit, and then behind the setter it's even more difficult.
Ace is the story of this first set. The fifth ace secures set 1, 25-12. Not much more to say. It was a serving display. When we come back, the second set here in Bowie's Creek.
Tasha, did you know Geico could save you hundreds on car insurance and a whole lot more? So what are you waiting for? Hip-hop group tag team to help you plan dessert?
French vanilla, rocky road, chocolate peanut butter cookie dough. Scoop, there it is. Scoop, there it is. Scoop, there it is. Scoop, there it is. Scoop, shakalaka, 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 shaka. Scoop, shakalaka, shakalaka, shakalaka.
Geico. Switch today and see all the ways you could save.
Pepsi Wild Cherry.
Tired of cooking at home? Change it up without getting up. Just order Jersey Mike's through our app for no contact delivery or no contact at the door pickup. Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
There's not a secret to what actually happens behind the scenes at a bank. Here at First Citizens, we're trying to educate the client in each step of what's actually going to happen. And actually have them make the educated decision around what steps and what options they utilize. We want to become that trusted advisor that actually guides them down that road, helping you reach your goals. That's Forever First.
Power isn't born, it's built over time. For over 65 years, Hercules Tires has been providing the muscle to move more drivers. Whatever the vehicle, whatever the terrain, and we back it with a powerful protection plan. So wherever the road or the trail takes you, we have the selection, value, and strength to get you there. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
Dominant set 1 for Campbell, 25-12. Paul, the question coming in for this Campbell team, how do they repeat success on day 1 to day 2? What have they done here in this first set?
Well, in the first set, it was clearly getting those middle blockers involved. Haley Wilson with 5 attack attempts, and then mix in Melody Page with 4 attack attempts, so 9 of the team's 27 swings coming from the middle. That rate of return from the middles, nowhere near that yesterday. So getting those middles involved, so important in the 25-12 victory in set 1. And you even mentioned it, a quarter of the points, virtually just about a quarter of the points, were on service aces in set 1 for Campbell. And so
that was the real trouble for PC yesterday. Gave up 13 aces, already 5 for Campbell in this one.
Yep, if the Blue Hose can't pass better than they did in the first set, you're going to see a repeat of the first. And I say that with disappointing tone because I'm really waiting and excited to see what Presbyterian can demonstrate with an offense that has some flow. But so far, not much flow for the Blue Hose, except for maybe the first 2 or 3 points. They had a 3-1 lead early on in set 1, but after that, all Campbell.
Jordan Makeda was a bright spot, 3 kills and a couple of blocks on the front row.
A lot of swings from Allie Wright. 12 attempts, but only 1 kill. So for Campbell, Campbell is slowing her down both on the block. They're getting block touches on her, but they're also digging her rather easily in transition defense.
Samantha Stenko with the first serve of set 2. That ball is out. One of the few times that Campbell's been in system and missed a shot.
Yep, and it's a net call against Presbyterian. Otherwise, that would have been an opportunity for the Blue Hose to capitalize on a rare error for Campbell. The ball being hit out, but instead the net touch by Presbyterian, and the first point goes to Campbell.
Cook with a deep serve that misses long. We mentioned it in yesterday's broadcast, but as a coach, you see 5 aces, you see 2 errors. What's the magic number that you can manage of the big swings with some of the mistakes?
Well, most coaches will tell you that they'll accept more service errors than aces as long as the remaining in serves put pressure on the opposing team. Most coaches will rate the serves as far as a 3-2-1 system. So if you're creating problem passes for the opponent, even if they're not aces, those are still beneficial, even if there's a few more service errors than there are aces for any one individual.
Example A right there, getting the setter out of system and Cook. Now Minor in transition finds Green, who's tipped. Dump set comes up short.
Well, and she tries it again, does Maddie Minor, and another error. In the first set, she attempted that play. It looked really good, but it was a double contact, so that one was whistled. This one, it didn't quite clear the net, so no point for her. 2 of those that could have been points instead were errors on the side of Campbell.
That's a tough set. Minor did a great job that time as Green knocks it over.
That's a redemption set after the bad point a moment ago.
Probably what any player wants, a chance for redemption for sure. Hewitt on the bump to Cook, who does about everything for this team, beating Elise Gross.
Nice job by Presbyterian. Presbyterian's starting to feel it just a little bit. If you look real close, you may be able to notice you see a little bit of an edge from the Blue Hose. They didn't like what that first set looked like, and that score was kind of crooked.
That's an awkward return. Ace for Presbyterian. Sierra Jones that time.
And more energy from the Blue Hose, and you can see it right out there on the floor. PC with a 4-2 lead, but they're also doing it the right way. They're doing it with pressure on the serve.
Minor middle. There's Hewitt that time. Allie Wright a bit short. Campbell stops the 3-0 run.
Yep, just a miscue by Allie Wright. However, what she was doing was probably going to get dug by Campbell. Campbell would have had the free ball opportunity there anyway. However, if you're the Blue Hose, you hope to at least reset your defense, but instead the error and the immediate point for the Camels.
Jones on the back set. Mitter's all over that one. As Kala from the right side tools the block.
Whatever Kala touches has been pretty solid today. 2 kills on only 2 swings, and both of them have been the right swing at the right time. One, a booming cut swing in set 1. This one, the tool off the block.
Another back set to Makeda. How about Mitter to the floor that time? And Green's denied. Makeda's been busy at the net.
Nice job by Makeda, and sure enough, you've called her name quite a bit today. Makeda has really been a big key. The freshman from Fort Worth, Texas, really getting the work done for PC here today.
That's what Coach Krim Burgess told us. When you come from high clubs in Texas, they're ready to play as a freshman.
Now, Texas is a hotbed for volleyball just about anywhere they play. Exceptionally competitive, both at the high school level and
There's
club.
a reason the Longhorns are 17-0 and the top 5 in the country. It's not because it's just a great recruiting program. It's the state, it's the whole culture, it's the tradition of that program. It really proves true.
It really is the total package, and Texas is that. Texas easily has the best athletes of any volleyball squad in the country, and that's bar none.
Even in the AVCA coaches poll this week, you look at Wisconsin, Texas, Kentucky, some of the top dogs, and it does make you wonder, Paul, in a year with fewer non-automatic qualifiers, it's going to be a heavy tournament of some of the best teams in the country.
Yes, not a lot of opportunities out there for an extra bid. For instance, the Big South, it's looking like it's going to be the conference champ is going to be the only one with the bid. An at-large opportunity isn't a realistic possibility for the Big South and other mid-major conferences around the country this year.
As Sarah Kala gets the kill. So that begs the question, Paul, if you're a team like Creighton in the Big East and you don't win your conference tournament, is there room for a program like that with how many bids are up for grabs?
Well, there might be enough room for a traditional team like Creighton. Creighton's playing in the Big East, which is a very strong conference. And for them, you're right. If they don't win it, they're going to sweat it on decision day and selection day, as opposed to regular years where they wouldn't sweat it even if they happen to come in second in their conference.
There's a touch by Wilson at the net, so point Presbyterian. Much more competitive second set as opposed to the first, where Campbell won 25-12.
Presbyterian looks like an entirely different team from the first set so far.
There's an ace for Makeda. What can she not do wrong in this second set?
So far, what she touches turns to gold, and they're putting pressure on Layla Green on the serve here. Nice serve by Jordan Makeda. Watch for that ball to come in low and flat against Layla Green again.
I believe the referees weren't ready for play, so she will reserve here.
And I hate a situation like that. It throws off the rhythm of a server. We'll have to see how Makeda adjusts to that stoppage of play and the reset.
Vector right over it. Cook in transition.
Love the speed from Chloe Cook. Chloe Cook has the quickness to play middle, but maybe from a size standpoint, instead she's on the left side or on the right. She's been on the left and right all of her career, but you love the explosive approach there, and she puts that ball straight down for a kill.
Second kill for Cook. Now Jones, the back set to Aaron Cook, dug up by Mitter. Here's Chloe Cook. Good defense by Sydney Miller, who takes a swing at it. Into the block of Page.
Fantastic work by Paige, and Sarah Kalla setting the block, bringing her block inside to make sure that Paige knew where to go. They put up 4 long, big hands, and they finish off that stuff.
And when you're saying setting the block for folks at home, that right side or the outside hitter has to manipulate where their hands are, correct?
That's right. They manipulate their hands, and they also manipulate their positioning. So there's a strategy involved where the team may say, hey, we want to give away line, we'll let an opponent hit line, so we're going to set the block inside, and where they set that block, that's Kalla's job.
Cook goes over the block, and it finds the floor. Nice kill from the junior.
PC's really shown themselves here in this set. They look pretty good. I know they're down by 2, but I can't say enough about the adjustment energy-wise by PC, but also they've really shored up their service reception. They're passing just a little bit better, and they're also serving stronger here in this set, much better than they did in set 1.
Aaron Cook with a ripping serve off the body of Cook, who goes to the back row, and Hewitt sneaks it over. Now Presbyterian in transition, a little free ball for Miller. Page insistent, that's a good block. Kalla comes up a bit strong and short.
Nice block by Hannah Chapman, and also Grahalski in the middle. Grahalski, the freshman from North Prairie, Wisconsin. We were talking about other hotbeds. One hotbed is Texas, mid-Wisconsin, and where she is from, Kettle Moraine, a fantastic volleyball high school program, and she also played with Milwaukee Sting, a traditional power in club volleyball.
Kalla hit that so hard it had like a move in the Matrix. It just manipulated through a couple of bodies for the point.
When Kalla connects, she's got some heat on that swing, and good on her. Whenever there's a seam left for her, that's a big mistake by the opponent. She's going to put that ball down, or at least put pressure on the defense.
She had a tough time with the serve. Karen's a nice cross-court swing. Here's Cook, who now comes into set. They ask a lot of Aaron Cook. Does Corinne Burgess. Up to the billing, but can't slow down Kate Menz.
And that one snuck by the hands of Hannah Chapman. So a good quality block a moment ago, but this time that block doesn't quite make it through. That ball trickles off her hands down for a point.
Just the 4th match of the year for Chapman. Coming back from injury and a service error here for Maddie Miner. That's been the challenge for PC, intermixing lineups with players not healthy. And then a team, when you lose a player like Trinity Williams, who was so impactful, second in kills, you're asking Aaron Cook to move around from her traditional roles on outside. It's a big ask for this club.
It does, but it speaks to team. When the team steps in and says, hey, we're going to do whatever it takes, if it means changing positions, if it means helping out a little bit here or there to make sure that you're doing the right things, filling in some gaps, that is the sign of a good well-balanced team, but a good positive team when they're willing to step in and do those things. You don't see any hesitation from Hannah Chapman out there on the floor. She's doing the things that she needs to do now that she has the opportunity.
The third kill for men's makes it a 4-point difference on the missed touch by Cairns.
Nice choice by Cairns, but that execution just missed, and that's a point that Presbyterian desperately needed. That ball sailed out. It was going to go down untouched by any Campbell player, but unfortunately she missed.
Free ball from Cook. Men's wasting no time. Her fourth kill sends us to a timeout. Campbell looking to jump up 2-0 when we return on ESPN+. Taking a look at Corinne Burgess in year 8, longest tenured coach in the Big South, and this was a team that made the semifinals last full season. A group trying to bounce back from a 2-9 start to this current season.
Yep, and it wasn't what they had expected, but some injuries and some other struggles really set them back. They were chosen 4th in the conference for the Big South this year, so really not the result that they wanted, but like you said, some injuries, COVID, and next thing you know, you've got a struggling season on your hands.
It looks like we have an illegal lift on Campbell. I think they might have called it on the Layla Green attack, where she sort of flailed her arm and knocked it over.
Yeah, either a lift or I didn't see the motion. I feel like the ball may have passed around the outside of the antenna also. That could have been another option. Tough to see with the motion, and we're going to get a review here. So if it's a review, they're not reviewing whether that ball went around the antenna. They may be reviewing something else.
This is such a unique time in the season when you consider one bid in this league in the Big South Conference. Really, for Presbyterian, it is essentially over, right? The season they're not going to win a title. Campbell has title aspirations, but they need a lot of help to get to that point. And as a coach, I know it's tough to swallow, Paul, but when you're these two teams, you're not necessarily playing for a title. What are you playing for on a daily basis?
Well, you're really playing because you love the game. You love to compete as coaches, as athletes. And as coaches, you don't want to start saying, well, hey, we're doing this for next year, because you want buy-in. So you talk about what's next. We learn a lot from some of the classic coaches, and you ask them, well, hey, what are you thinking about next week? And they said, well, I'm just thinking about practice today. Well, what are you thinking about for next season? So, well, I really haven't thought much about next season besides the recruiting efforts that the team is obviously doing. They're trying to think about what they're doing on the next point. I heard an interview and obviously the NCAA men's basketball tournament is going on. That's obvious. But
I'm watching right now as it's going on.
Are you?
I know we're watching this too, but there's a lot going on.
Yep, you've got one eye on Arkansas taking care of business against Colgate. But one of the things that they mentioned was they're looking to do great in the next minute of play in basketball. And I think that's not much different than in volleyball. They've really got it distilled down, and I know a lot of coaches, myself included, talk about the next 5 points. What are we going to do to get to 15? And for Campbell with the lead, what can we do to get to 20? They're not even thinking about the set 2 victory. They're thinking about this rotation and what to play right now. So when you talk about mindset, I think the coaches are really, really putting a lot of effort into focusing on the now.
So Leanne Matz went over to get the review. She's coming over to the lead ref Aisha Boyd. And there was a little bit of a confusion there of how that call is explained, so they're going to talk it out.
Yep, and it was hard to see the motion from the R2 as to what they were reviewing. I saw the review hand, but not what it was in particular that they were reviewing. So they're in full conversation mode to get this point right, and it's great that they're going to get it right, and it looks like we're going to have a decision in just a moment.
So they're going to call it a do-over, essentially, that Layla Green's swing was legal. So you take off the point for PC. You kind of play it over again, if you will.
Yes, and I believe that it may have been a review simply as to whether the ball was in or out or legally in play, passing over the antenna, and it was not something that they could see with the views, so instead they're going to go ahead and replay the point.
This is a critical swing point in the second set. Minor with the dig. Now Green goes cross-court right to Hewitt, who is second in this conference in digs. A block for Page.
And Page and Green come together. That's one serious roof. Those two players have an exceptional leap and press
so
on
Paul,
that
right
block.
here, you have to imagine Page is saying, well, that kill counts for me, right? Because you get the jump ball, you get the second chance, and I don't know what they're saying, but it kind of feels like they're thanking each other for that point.
That's right. They came together and they got it done, and a fantastic block. They actually both get credit for a block assist as long as the stats play out as they appear.
You were right. They're both credited with the stats as Jason Williams and Davis Dupree punching in the numbers. We appreciate their help as always. And a Hewitt on a good float serve gives Green some trouble. Point Presbyterian.
Nice job by Hewitt on that serve. Brings it in nice low and flat, and she tries to take out Layla Green, especially Layla Green, trying to transition to hit. So by making her pass, she maybe doesn't have the chance to transition and attack as easily if she has to pass.
From a service ace to a service error. It's been the story of this match, Paul. 10 combined aces, but also 8 combined errors.
Well, and again, I can't talk enough about the risk-reward mindset that most of the coaches have. They just want to put pressure on. Now, 13 aces by Campbell yesterday is a little bit high. I mean, I know Campbell will take the 13 aces, but that also—
Wilson and system.
Yep, and that more speaks to Presbyterian's passing.
You say risk it for the biscuit. Keep feeding the middles if you're Campbell. They've been red hot.
Hey, feed them with the biscuit. We were talking about, talking about the food earlier today, but hey, it comes down to feeding the middles, getting the middles involved to keep the play going and take the pressure off the pin hitters.
Back to a 5-point game on the error by Claire Ann Fector. And in this match, Paul, Campbell now 5 different players with at least 4 kills. Presbyterian, just Jordan Makeda with 4 kills in the middle.
Yep, and Presbyterian hitting negative. They really need to remedy that if they're going to get back into things. They've played much better in this set, but attacking on the negative is not going to get it done.
This set is like death by 1,000 cuts with all the service errors giving points.
It is, and paper cuts at that. That's been the giveaways of points have been painful. It was a well-played set earlier on, and now it's been tick for tack as far as the misses.
Mitter in transition to Kala. That cross-court swing is out. So 19-14 here in the second after Campbell dominated set 1, 25-12.
Sparkman coming in to serve, coming all the way from Boise, Idaho to play in Clinton, South Carolina. So good get by Coach Corinne Burgess to attract Abby Sparkman to come and play here in South Carolina, all the way from the mountains of Idaho.
And her mom played softball down in Texas at SMU, just outside of Dallas, which is the hotbed of the women's basketball tournament this week in San Antonio with the men's NIT in Dallas. Good dig by Fector. Green from the back row shoots it long.
Wow, great up by Fector. That's a great collapse pass, kind of a diving collapse pass by Fector. Really, really another textbook play by her. Fector having a very, very good game again. 13 digs already, and we're only at 20 points in set 2.
Race to 5 in this critical second set. Kala has to push it down line, causing a lot of trouble.
Kala had taken big swings, so I like the variety on the velocity there. Instead of taking the big monster swing, she goes with kind of a light, kind of a delicate tip, catches the Blue Hose off guard, and that's the point for them.
Delicate, like handling brownie batter when it's warm out of the oven. You got to be careful. It's pretty good, and there's a kill for Hannah Chapman.
Evan, you need to get lunch before you come into these games, boy. I tell you what.
As 2 o'clock starts, they make it tough for timing of food. I mean, I don't know how these operations, the coaches were scheduling these pregame meals. It's impressive.
They do. And can you imagine? I know we've talked about other sports a little bit.
Oh, Melody Page serving up lunch.
What a fantastic swing by Paige, and a nice save on the set to make sure that job could get done. So good job by Emily Minner to take that ball off the net. Now you're talking about the meals, and all kidding aside, when the West Coast teams were scheduled in football, scheduled for some morning games, they have wake-up calls at 4 in the morning. They're working on breakfast at like 4:30 and 5 a.m. Really can take the players out of whack. That's not a practice scenario that they would ever be dealing with in a regular day.
Nice dig by Cook to keep it alive. Now Fector from the back row sets up Cook. Sydney Miller's turn, goes long down the near side, and Campbell 2 points from the set.
Good block there by Presbyterian, and Cairns there on the block to slow the ball down. Now it didn't result in a point, but I like the positioning by Presbyterian to keep things going there, but the rally did fall short with the attack error.
Minor targets Sparkman. Here's Cairns off the hands. Minor to the back corner and finds the line. She's tried it in each of the first 2 sets. This time it's perfect.
Yep, and it's a funny thing too. She also changed where she was going with it on her 2 play attempts like that resulted in an error. She was going short for those. So instead, this time she turns and puts it in the left back corner.
Back set to Miller. Strong hands, but out of play. Point Presbyterian.
Chloe Cook was there, but she got tooled, and good on Presbyterian to get that tool swing. So nice job on them to get the side out. But boy, again, they're just out of time here with set point for Campbell at 24-17.
The 3rd set point for Campbell in this 2nd set. It's up to Samantha Stenko. Minor goes middle. Good dig by Hewitt. Campbell now swings for the set. Roll shot out by Wright. Cairns off hands of Page for the point.
I like the effort by Cairns over there on the right side, taking big swings. She got a good tool a moment ago, and now she tools the middle blocker on a cutting attack there over on the right side. Good job by Cairns to keep things going.
Another chance for Campbell in set 2. Good dig by Stenko. Right, cross court. Now men's. Green from the back row gets hands at the net, giving Campbell a 2-0 lead. When we come back, the Geico halftime report as Campbell an early 2-set start.
Crust is the most important part of stuffed crust. It's half the name.
Guys, we'll double this up like we did yesterday as well.
Made from 6 simple ingredients. 7 if you count all this cheese. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. Papa John's is known for its crispy, fresh crust full of warm, fluffy pockets. And now they're known for stuffing those pockets with cheese. I love you, cheese. Get a new epic stuffed crust pizza with 1 topping for just $12. Papa John's.
We are not merely an institution of higher education. We are transforming lives and empowering students to become leaders.
Leaders in our communities.
In our state and throughout the world.
Leaders in innovation.
Leaders in service to our neighbors.
Join our movement. Join our community. Join our mission. Lead with purpose. Lead with Campbell.
In the last 10 years, Emerge Orthopedics has really been on the forefront of doing orthopedic urgent care. We realize that a lot of these accidents happen after hours, and patients want to get seen and get diagnosed and get taken care of. Emerge has a number of orthopedic urgent cares throughout the Triangle, and some of which are open 7 days a week, open till 9 o'clock at night, and that's been a huge benefit to patients. Patients routinely give us compliments on that and the care they receive there.
Crust is the most important part of stuffed crust. It's half the name. Papa John's crust is made from 6 simple ingredients. 7 if you count all this cheese. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. Papa John's is known for its crispy, fresh crust full of warm, fluffy pockets. And now they're known for stuffing those pockets with cheese. I love you, cheese. Get a new epic stuffed crust pizza with one topping for just $12. Papa John's. Crust is the most important part of stuffed crust. It's half the name. Papa John's crust is made from 6 simple ingredients. 7 if you count all this cheese. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. Papa John's is known for its crispy, fresh crust full of warm, fluffy pockets. And now they're known for stuffing those pockets with cheese. I love you, cheese. Get a new epic stuffed crust pizza with one topping for just $12. Papa John's.
We are not merely an institution of higher education. We are transforming lives and empowering students to become leaders.
Leaders in our communities.
In our state and throughout the world.
Leaders in innovation.
Leaders in service to our neighbors.
Join our movement. Join our community. Join our mission. Lead with purpose. Lead with Campbell.
In the last 10 years, Emerge Orthopedics has really been on the forefront of doing orthopedic urgent care. We realize that a lot of these accidents happen after hours, and patients want to get seen and get diagnosed and get taken care of. Emerge has a number of orthopedic urgent cares throughout the Triangle, and some of which are open 7 days a week, open till 9 o'clock at night, and that's been a huge benefit to patients. Patients routinely give us compliments on that and the care they receive there.
Crust is the most important part of stuffed crust. It's half the name. Papa John's crust is made from 6 simple ingredients. 7 if you count all this cheese. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. Papa John's is known for its crispy, fresh crust full of warm, fluffy pockets. And now they're known for stuffing those pockets with cheese. I love you, cheese. Get a new epic stuffed crust pizza with one topping for just $12. Papa John's.
Well, look at that. It's not basketball season anymore. It's volleyball season. Rare to say here in the month of March. But Campbell rolling with a 2-0 lead. And certainly, Paul, 2 different stories on these benches. A loose, relaxed Campbell team and a little bit uptight Presbyterian through 2 sets.
Yeah, and Presbyterian a little bit uptight. They played a much better set 2, especially through halfway through the game. And, in fact, at the end, they put on 3 more points before Campbell finished things off with their set point. Presbyterian playing better, but hitting only 118. So 11 kills and 10 errors on 57 attempts. They're having a hard time on the offensive end getting things clicking, particularly off of service reception.
A much more relaxed Campbell team that even in the pregame, they had known the last 3 times they played these series. They won game 1 in sweeps. Day 2, a much different story. We've seen a much better version of Campbell here in day 2.
Yes, and Greg Gorel really talked about that mindset. It's very hard to convince a team after beating somebody handily, at least on the scoreboard the night before, that they have to play at a better level. And you can imagine for Presbyterian, after getting beat in 3 yesterday, they're going to come out ablaze today fighting hard. So Campbell has to be prepared for a better Presbyterian team on a Friday than they did yesterday, the Thursday night victory that Campbell had in 3 over the Blue Hose.
Campbell leads the all-time series 8-7, and they're looking to pick up a huge conference win, trying to move to 9-3 in the Big South. And as we mentioned, High Point and Charleston Southern playing a double dip today. Really, if High Point wins those 2 matches, they're in a prime position to win the conference and get the auto bid.
Yes, they'll have it locked up because at the very least, they'll be, I believe that they will even have, at that point, the tie break. They'll have 12 victories if they win both today. They would go to 12-0 with only 2 games to be played.
Melody Page off the hands of Chapman to start set 3. Cairns with a nice swing cross court.
Minor not too happy with herself on that dig. That ball came in a little bit slow, Minor was very much dug in, waiting for the power swing, but that off-speed swing took her off guard.
An ace, 2-0 start for Presbyterian.
Another good start for Presbyterian. They had a solid start in set 2 as well, and in fact in set 1 they were up 3-1 before Campbell put it away 25-12 in set 1.
They target men's on this serve. Page and system to the floor.
Nice job by Paige. Good finish to the set by Maddie Minor. She had to take that ball off the net, maybe a tad too tight, not too tight, but a tad tight. She locates that ball for Paige to take a good enough swing to put that ball down.
Here's Wright, just from the 8-foot line. Green touches down line. Great dig by Stenko. Now a free ball for Presbyterian. Back set to men's. Cairns to the floor. This is a crazy rally. Minor joins the party. And a net violation on Presbyterian ends our back and forth.
Yep, some good work and some great work by Cairns there. Good on the defensive end. I think from a setting standpoint, when things are just a tad out of system, Aaron Cook is going outside. I'd like to see her work that ball to the backside a little bit. Cairns is looking good. If they can get that ball to Cairns, she can get good swings.
There's a good swing, dug out by Fector. Green sitting on 7 kills to lead Campbell tonight. A chance right here. Instead going middle. Melody Page heating up with 7 herself.
And Melody Page rotating her shoulders to get that ball to move toward the right sideline of Presbyterian. Nice job by her physically to close the shoulders and rip cross body to get that ball to go down.
7 kills on 12 swings for Page. Free ball over by Cook. Minor with a push set to Green, who beats the block.
Now that was some hang time from Green. Green kind of had the chance to take a look at the block. I think she was up maybe just a fraction early, but that hang time allowed her to take a late swing against the block of Presbyterian. That ball goes in between them, kind of plinkos between the two of them and goes to the floor.
An ace for Chloe Cook. Give Campbell 6 of those tonight.
And this is a unique spot for Corinne Burgess and her squad. Things are happening very, very fast. We've seen quick first touch points by Campbell here, and she's going to want to slow things down fast if it continues in this way.
This is a 5-0 run. Page is feeling it in the middle.
Nice ball control by Campbell. Campbell is going back to what they did in set 1. They're involving their middles and continuing to put pressure on Presbyterian to block the entire net, all 30 feet, instead of being able to commit to either pin.
A service error ends the 6-0 spurt. And Paul, in a 2-0 difference, this is a crucial stretch for Presbyterian.
It really is, and it's crucial early. If they fall much further behind, there's a mental aspect that's going to be hard to overcome for the Blue Hose. Blue Hose have shown in spurts that they can compete here, but they need to do it for greater runs so they can get back into this set and therefore get back into the match.
Jones, the back set to Cook. That is a double touch of the net, so it is legal for 4 touching. Right back to it. Little disjointed return and a point for Presbyterian.
Yep, low set by Presbyterian to the attack. Campbell was a little bit out of sorts there on the dig. That ball could not be corralled by the setter, Maddie Minor, so that ball goes down.
How about the difference in this match? Campbell at .333 hitting percentage. Presbyterian at just .045. Minor has a long way to run. Hewitt there for the dig. She's in double figures. Green slipped on her way up. No injury, but point PC.
Oh, and that's a bummer because she was ready to come and take a big swing, and you could see them motioning down now that they're going to go ahead and clean up that floor, and I realize that Sierra Jones is waiting to serve. This is not a timing tactic. She slipped for certain because the floor was slick on a prior dig. So now that we're back at it, you just got to be thankful that on that slip that Layla Green wasn't injured on a ball like that.
Jones targets Green. How about that for coming right back at you? Page misses to the far side. Just the second error for Melody Page tonight.
And Page is really leaping exceptionally well in the middle. That makes it very challenging for Maddie Miner. Miner needs to actually get the quick set up a little bit higher. That will allow Paige to take a full swing on that ball.
There it is. Job well done.
Nice adjustment by Miner, and I also like Miner going back to Melody Page and saying, hey, Melody Page, that was an error, but that was an us error. That wasn't a you error. Let's get back to it. We'll clean it up. Sure enough, they did. She puts the ball down.
Page in double figures for the 3rd time this year. Bump set by Jones to Cook. She's got a cannon from the back row on that swing. Menz beats the block, and there's Cook to scoop it up. And yep, a double touch on the bump set.
Things were looking good on that rally for PC until the double contact. And PC was coming back from being down on a 6-0 run by Campbell. Now they're within 2.
Miner goes out to Green, who touches the back line. 9 kills for Layla.
Great swing by Layla Green, and good scouting report there on the side of both Layla Green and also Coach Gorel. Defenders in the left back and right back for Presbyterian against Layla Green. So what does she do? She goes into the middle back, puts that ball down.
Hewitt off balance, and that's a lift. Campbell on a 3-0 run to stop Presbyterian's 3-0 run. And a timeout call by Corinne Burgess. Urgent moment for the Blue Hose, down 2 sets, trying to keep their streak alive here in the 3rd. Campbell looking to improve to 5-1 at home this year. 2 convincing sets to start the first 2, and an ace for Claire Fector.
Great job by Fector on the serve out of the timeout. So for her, that is going to be her first service ace. Yesterday, she had 5 service aces in the 3-set match. So for Fector to get a tally on the service line, good on her, and another pressure serve there to get things going on that serve.
Cook off the return, gets a swing across. Wilson denied by Makeda, who now has 3 blocks.
Good block by Makeda. Makeda was a big focus on the block in sets 1 and 2. And you noticed, Evan, you had called her name several times, both on the block and offensively. So it's good to see her get going here in set 3. Coach Corinne Burgess is going to need that from her so they can get back into this set.
Green hits the antenna. Presbyterian back within 3. Worth noting, too, both liberos busy tonight. Fector with 20 digs. Hewitt has 15 herself. It's just in like 2.5 sets. Imagine if this goes 4 or 5 sets tonight.
Yeah, they're racking up the digs. I think for Fector, it's pretty apparent that Campbell would like for Fector to get as many digs funneled toward her as possible, but I know for Coach Gorel, he has confidence in the rest of his squad. They're all making good quality digs out on the floor.
No chance on that swing. There's Cook going to work.
Yep, not that one, but too much space for Cook, and Cook with a nice hard cutting swing into the right sideline of Campbell. She really overpowered Emily Mitter on that one.
Mitter now sets it middle to Kala with a touch. Sydney Miller right into the net. Back to a 4-point difference. Because if you're Presbyterian, right, you are starting to count points a little bit here, and the last thing you want to do is get to 20 and have yourself in a 4 or 5 point deficit.
Yes, they want to stay as close as they can here. They're down by 4. They don't need that gap to be any greater. And now with Layla Green in the back row, they need to capitalize on that. Layla Green has been the top attacker for Campbell, so with her in the back row, maybe Presbyterian can capitalize as they did on that miscue right there.
Erin Cook, what more can you say? 3-time all-conference. I'd imagine even though her team won't have a great record, I think Erin will be in the hunt for an all-conference team at the end of this season.
And if the eye test is any judgment, she clearly passes the test here.
There's Sarah Kalla booming her 6th kill of the night.
And you just can't give her open space. If you give her a seam, she's going to do just that. And she's done this most of the day today, and she's done this most of the season. You give her a seam in the block, she's putting it down.
Kalla hitting 400 today, an ace for Haley Wilson. Give Campbell 8 of those. That's a lot of free points from PC's serve receive.
It really is, and for PC is really just struggling on the pass a little bit. Hewitt, the freshman, kind of a young player. You also have Krakowski out there, a young player as well. Oh, pardon me, Battle out there, a young player, freshman as well, in the service receive pattern.
Cairns tools the block of Kalla for the point. These freshmen, Paige Cairns, we mentioned Makeda, these are names to watch as the season continues.
Yep, but the future bodes well for Presbyterian. Not only are they playing reasonably well right now in the moment, but obviously with all of those freshmen, they could make a really solid core for Presbyterian here over the next, the balance of this season and 3 more.
Cook pushes that out to right. Denied, but out. The block of Kalla was strong, but not enough to keep it in. We've seen some revamped life from PC in this 3rd set.
Yep, a good push from the Blue Hose. And their last push earlier on in this set, they thwarted their own selves with a couple of errors, but now they're looking pretty solid.
Campbell out of system, gets it over. Cook goes middle, but missing her target in Hannah Chapman. We mentioned Erin Cook is not a setter by trade, but sliding into that role a lot more this year.
Well, and good on her, again, to fulfill the role that the team needs. And she's done a very, very good job of it, but they're the miscue that maybe could have been remedied by more repetitions from being a more seasoned setter.
Difficult return and ace for Campbell. You wonder here when Presbyterian's going to use one of those timeouts.
Yep, it's a very good offensive front row rotation for Campbell. Presbyterian's going to have to come up with something with Chloe Cook in the front row along with Paige and also Menz.
Yep, there's your timeout. Corinne Burgess to talk it over. Campbell, 7 points from a sweep here at home on ESPN+. Welcome back inside Gore Arena as Campbell looks to finish off Presbyterian in straight sets. Last night it was a 3-set victory. Campbell really struggled in the 3rd set, but they dominated the first 2. And this matchup much the same tonight as Minor misses long on the serve.
And just the break that Presbyterian wanted or needed, especially out of that timeout, a shot in the arm. And Presbyterian's going to have to step on the gas here soon with Hewitt back there on the serve to get things going for the Blue Hose.
Minor back set to Cook, who misses down the line. A 2-0 run out of the timeout.
And I like the attempt, the choice by Cook, but that's a very high error swing. If you are a right side, if you're hitting on the right side and you are a righty, that line swing is a very difficult spot to hit.
Melody Page is feeling it, double-figure kills. The difficulty of that set by Minor, how does she pull that off?
A lot of body control and a lot of practice, and there's a reason why she plays at such a high level. She can do stuff that a lot of setters just cannot. That was a perfect example. She put Paige in the perfect situation to finish things off.
We saw Paige Rieger a couple weeks ago from Charleston Southern. You put a ball in the right spot, and any middle can take advantage.
They can, well, but in the case of Paige Rieger, I think you're talking about a player that could be a candidate for Big South Player of the Year. She, at 6'5" in the middle for upstart Charleston Southern, with only one loss in the league, a good set to her generally results in a point.
That's called a lift on Maddie Minor, so back to a 3-point difference. It's a nice run for PC out of the timeout. And Sierra Jones to serve, a senior from Hendersonville, North Carolina. Minor has her pick of the litter, finds Menz, who collects the kill.
And that all started with the perfect pass from Clarianne Fector. That's one way to break a run, a service run by the opponent. A perfect pass in system. They get the ball into the middle, and great finish by Campbell.
Fector had 5 aces yesterday, a good serve that time. Cook against the net. Now Campbell in transition. Nice dig. Cook cross court with the kill.
And the Swiss Army knife of Erin Cook gets it done there on the hard cutting swing. And again, like you mentioned, she's just doing all things for her Presbyterian squad. Serving, of course, is solid for her, but she's setting for the team in 3 rotations, and there the attack, the front row rotations for her.
That's a costly service error for Abby Sparkman. I would argue that Cook also picks up the post-game meal and does the laundry after the game. That's how involved she is with this program.
Yep, you know, I heard that she did that, and hey, good on Erin Cook. She's taking care of everything. You talked about cooking earlier in the game. She's cooking up everything for Presbyterian.
They'll need a lot of it here in this third set to avoid a sweep. Jones goes back set to Cook. There's Fector, 21 digs. Green beats the hands of the front row for the point.
And Green is really feeling it. Green already with now in double digits. She's got 10 kills on the day.
There's an overpass. Wilson wins it at the net. And sometimes referee 2 will call that an overtouch, but Wilson did stay straight up.
Yep, and in fact, the R2, if you look real closely, she suggested that it was an illegal block. She made the motion, but the R1 motion no, and just let the play continue to its conclusion with the block that goes down.
Presbyterian struggling with serves all day, giving Campbell a chance in rhythm. Green down the line, scooped out by Wright. Cook, that's a tight angle, but missing wide. Oh, wait, no, getting the point. Actually, nope, it is called out, sorry.
Good swing by Cook. She didn't miss by much, only really an inch, and here we are at set and match point for Campbell.
Campbell trying to pick up a straight set sweep for the second straight day. And a smart challenge here from Corinne Burgess. You might as well use him late in this set. And Corinne's challenging whether that shot was in or out.
Yep, we don't have the best vantage point from this particular spot, but the original thought was that it was in. It sure looked like a good swing. The line judge calls out, so here's the review.
Julio Santana with that call. He was right on top of the line, like you mentioned. And this really is the match here for Presbyterian. If this call gets overturned, a chance for momentum, and if not, that's a steep hill to climb down 2 sets.
It is, and that's a steep hill against a very good Campbell team. And for Presbyterian right now, hitting 074 to Campbell's 301. So Campbell's hitting a blazing 301 in the day. And in fact, for Campbell's goal, and Coach Gorel talked about this before, is that Coach Gorel's goal was for the team to be hitting at a 230 or a 240 clip. So for Campbell to be hitting at 300, definitely exceeding those goals out on the floor today.
A 4-0 run for Campbell's put him in a great spot here in this third set. And we asked Greg Gorl coming into the week, how do you take care of business on day 2? He said it's so much mental. What's impressive about that ability to lock in today?
Well, today I think they really listened and they got the message from Coach Gorl that, sure, a good quality win the night before doesn't mean that the next day is automatic. Mentally, you have to check back in as if you weren't victorious the day before. You can take notes based on how you did the day before, whether it's hitting angles and different strategy, but mentally you got to check back in whether you were a victorious 3-0, whether you lost 3-0, and Presbyterian has done that today too. Presbyterian looks much better than they did yesterday. Now they're at risk here of losing the match 3-0, but clearly not the same look from Presbyterian. They had some good quality spurts today.
Well, the hit percentage much better.
Yep.
The aces are still high for Campbell. That's a huge issue for PC moving forward, but to your point, I think both these teams making progress with 2 weeks left, which is crazy to think. Just 2 weeks left in the regular season.
Yep, it's hard to believe that the spring season is coming to an end here very, very shortly. And for both squads kind of heading in slightly different directions. Now Campbell with a slim chance at vying for the Big South title. They're going to need some help today. High Point is matching up against Charleston Southern, the number 1 team in High Point and the number 2 team in the Big South in Charleston Southern, matching up today in a double header.
Well, how about this? Charleston Southern has taken the first 2 sets from High Point in match 1. That's a double header today. And if Charleston Southern can get things rolling with 2 wins, that changes the dynamic of this conference standings.
It absolutely would, and it would be very favorable to Campbell to stay into things if that were the case. And sure enough, the call is going to be that the attack from Aaron Cook was in. So great review by Coach Corinne Burgess, and that staves off an opportunity to get to set point for Campbell. Instead, the score resets at 23-18, and a breath of life for the Presbyterian Blue Hose with that review.
Huge break for Presbyterian. They need a run right here. Minner goes middle to Kala, who soars in for the kill.
Oh, and we saw that combination with 2 different players earlier on in the match. It was Paige coming in for the quick, and then the decoy for Layla Green to come in, and instead this time the middle for Campbell decoys, and Kala comes behind for the great swing.
Match point is down for an ace. Campbell takes the sweep in straight sets thanks to excellent serving. Campbell with the win moves to 9-3 on the year, and Paul certainly in this matchup. 11 aces tells the story. 2 players with Paige and Green double figures does a huge part. What's the biggest impact for you in this match?
Yeah, you said it on both of those, but now add in Clarion Fector. Clarion Fector with 24 digs yesterday in a 3-set victory, 21 digs today. So logging in massive numbers defensively was Clarion Fector, and not only just digs that were up, they were digs that got Campbell in system, and Campbell used their middle blockers much, much more today. Melody Page was 17 attempts, and then also offensively, Haley Wilson with 9 attempts. So much more usage of the middle blockers today than yesterday for Campbell. I think that was the biggest adjustment for Campbell in their changes and improvements from yesterday to today, to move from a 115 attack percentage yesterday. They moved to 309 today, a massive night and day improvement offensively for the Campbell squad.
For Paul McDonald, I'm Evan Budrovich. Thanking you for watching this matchup today. Campbell moves to 9-3 in the conference, and that is it. You can watch the rest of the broadcast on ESPN.com. If you're not watching March Madness, I don't blame you. But for all of us here in Bowie's Creek, we say thank you for joining us today.